Okay, for activity 1.3.6, where we have to make the section view from part one, there were a lot of questions on what this would actually look like. And I think that the big problem is there are circles involved here, and there are also um, regular cuts that extrude downward as well too. So whenever we make our section line to cut it down the line of symmetry, either thinking about like cutting about it through here or cutting about it through this direction, then what we're going to have is we're going to have a section view that's going to have part of it cut out and the other part is going to look like object lines because we can actually still see that particular area. We're not actually cutting into it because you can see like here's an example. This is a rough 3D model of what this looks like. So I just kind of quickly made it in Onshape so that we could use it. So here's a general idea of what we have. So if we look at it from the top, it's got these like two circles that are kind of cut in it in a slot down the middle. So if we were to look at this through the line of symmetry, which is like straight down through here, that means that, yeah, there's going to be some material here that's going to have some section lines in it because that's going to be literally getting cut through the material. And then from the other side, and because if you were to just look at this without a section view, this is probably like the most boring view you've ever seen in your life. And then likewise, if you went at it from like any angle from this side or the back side, it almost looks like a box from most of the places. The only real interesting parts are up here at the top view, and the right view would actually have this. Let's see if I can. Whoop, there we go. It would kind of look like this, which is pretty much what we have here. Okay, so let's just take a hint because I don't want to actually do this for you, but I do want to show you guys some hints on what would actually happen. So I'm going to click on this button. I'm going to go down to section view, and I'm going to kind of just cut it down from the beginning. So like here's the start. Okay, and if I were to make my section plane right here, all of the material would be cut into. So I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep doing a cross section as I keep going through, keep going through, keep going through, keep going through, keep going through. Okay, so like we're getting ready to hit about the halfway point, which is about right here, I think, roundabout. Okay, yeah, that looks about like the halfway point. So what that looks like to us, if we look at this from the, oops, helps if I actually go to the right area. Um, if we look at this from the isometric view, you can see that, this part up here, this ring, this is still visible to us. We're not actually cutting into this part. And this plane right here, we're not actually cutting into that part yet. So we don't need to make section lines like everywhere whenever we make our sketch. It's going to need to look more like this, where we have our section lines right here in the colored in area right now. The other places are going to have more, they're going to be object lines. So I should have object lines over here. I shouldn't have section lines all the way through this stuff. One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people do is they have section lines that just go through everywhere, all over the place. And really, in this part, the only places that you've actually cut into when you cut this piece in half is you're cutting into the backside and you're cutting into this bottom part down here. Those are the two places that you're going to have. Okay, so whenever you're making your section view and you're putting your section view in this spot, that section view needs to look a lot like this. Okay, this is the view that we have that we're going for here. Okay, so use this as a guide. You want to try to think about it and try it on yourself first, like try it out in your mind's eye, drawing everything out before you actually just trace this out. Because if you trace this, you're not doing yourself any good. Try it out first and visualize what's actually happening, and then use this as a reference for your answer to correct yourself. Okay, hope this was helpful. Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk later.